Hank Goldberg back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Hammer?
Hi, Coach.
What do you think of my idea that I dreamt about being the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, Hank?
I like it. Well, you got a good quarterback there. You know something?
Mm-hmm.
You're the second coach that I've talked to today. The first one called me from Baltimore. The offensive coordinator is going to the Preakness tomorrow and wants to know how many of the races I've handicapped tomorrow.
So Tressman wanted your picks, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
I'll help him.
Okay. Well, look, that's why we call you up, Hank. Brockman, once again, you're my pen. Okay. Focus here.
I'm on it. You know something? I saw your picture in Vanity Fair, you and Susie.
Yes.
Right above John Bon Jovi. I was impressed.
Thank you, Hank. I had nothing to do with the placement of it, but I was thrilled to see it. I'll tell you that.
I don't know many people who make Vanity Fair.
You're a good man. All right, Hank. So we've got ourselves a sloppy track tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, these two horses both like the off-going. You know, Nyquist won the Florida Derby on a sloppy track, and, of course, Exaggerator had that great run in the Santa Anita Derby. So the slop shouldn't bother either one of them. These two horses remind me of Butch and Sundance. I think, you know, it's going to be the two of them again. But you got 3 to 5 against what will probably be 5 to 2. So you're looking at a $6 exacta, which is not my style.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, like Butch and Sundance, the Belmont will be their Bolivia.
Okay.
You remember Sudden Breaking News, who was my long shot pick in the Derby, who came from 19th, and another 50 yards would have been third. And I'm looking at that horse in the Belmont, but that's 3 weeks from now. But for this race, you know, everybody I talk to thinks they're running for third place, and the sloppy track just makes it seem that more of a cinch. But you never know. You know, something could happen along the way. I talked with Dale Romans, who's sprung upsets before. He has a horse called Cherry Wine, who is training well and is a closer, and he thinks the horse will like the off-going. I'm going to use him underneath for third.
Okay.
Uncle Lino is another one who has the right kind of running style. Another one of the California horses. And the third one I've got is Fellowship, who I also know is training well, who is a Florida-based horse trained by Mark Cassie now. So I'm going to use those three underneath in superfectas, and you know, and I'll box them in tries, and you know, maybe something will happen. But I'm still looking at an odds-on favorite to come in.
Hank Goldberg joining me here now. Are you using the tries and the superfectas with those horses because of the odds? Because Stradivari's got a lot of people talking about.
I'm glad you asked.
Stradivari, right?
Stradivari is 8 to 1 in the morning line. I think they're using Pletcher as a guide there, but you know, he drew post 11. He's going to have to really. There's a lot of space in this race. There are 3 other horses: Abiding Star, Collected, and Uncle Lino are all going to be part of the pace. And for that matter, Nyquist might find himself on the lead if nobody else goes. But Stradivari will be trying to get the lead, and is going to have to be used early to get in a good position from the 11 post outside. And I'm tossing him. He's all his experience. He was impressive, winning by 14 lengths in an allowance race at Keeneland as last out. This is a big step up for a horse like that. And horses like that need a little more experience. He'll be better down the line.
Okay. So Hank Goldberg joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's get down to brass tacks then. Do you think Nyquist goes to Bolivia, as you point out, what Belmont's going to be, with a chance to be a Triple Crown winner? Do you think Nyquist takes it tomorrow?
I think he does. But you know something? That sloppy track will benefit Exaggerator. So
more than Nyquist?
Well, the one thing about Exaggerator was, you know, DeSormo ran into a little bit of a traffic problem on the stretch turn, but I don't think it cost him the race. I don't think he was going to catch Nyquist. You know, until somebody beats Nyquist, I think, you know, you have to stay with him. But I'm going to use both horses first and second in my super and in my tries. So and see what happens. And you know, it's just but when they get to the Belmont, they're going to look at each other down the stretch and they're going to say, just like Butch and Sundance said, Who are those guys?
So if a Rich Eisen show listener or viewer has only enough hard-earned American dollars to choose one horse to go with Nyquist, an exaggerator, who would that be, Hank?
You know something? I'm not going to bet a horse at 3-5 or 2-5. That's not my style. I would probably try to take a shot with exaggerator and hope I can get 5-2.
But if you had to put a third horse with him, though, who would that one be? You know, instead of
Cherry Wine.
Cherry Wine. Okay.
So that's 3-5-1.
3-5-1. Those are the numbers. Okay. I like it, Hank. And you think sudden breaking news is going to win the Belmont right now? You're calling your shot right there?
You know, the horse is, he's taking this race off.
Right.
And he's got the right running style. He ran a terrific race in the Derby. Like I said, he was 19th. Came from all the way back, past a lot of horses, and he was closing quickly. And like I said, another 50 yards, he would have been third.
Yep. Okay.
So I think he's got the goods.
Did you ever go to the track with Sinatra, Hank?
No.
Never.
But I did go. And I'll tell you a Preakness story that's great.
Yeah.
My first Preakness I went to was with the Greek, and Bill Brendo, who was the PR guy for CBS when CBS had the rights, used to rent a railroad train, or not the train, but the car. He used to put a car on the back of the train going from Baltimore to New York, and they would have a party and they'd cater it with stone crabs and plenty of beer, and we'd have a great time. And Phyllis George was on the train, and Pete Axel and I had a big argument as to who was going to carry Phyllis's bags off the train. When we flipped the coin, and I won. And I got to drive Phyllis home in a taxi. That was the highlight of my Preakness career.
Well, until you hit the 3-5-1 tomorrow, maybe that'll be a highlight, Hank.
Well, we did well last year, so hopefully we can repeat.
Hey, you got 4 of the 5 right in the Kentucky Derby. 4 of the top 5, you nailed it.
I was excited when I saw sudden breaking news make that late run. I thought
all of us
we were going to make a score.
We all trust me. All of us here did too. Hank, we're right there with you. Love having you on, Hank. We'll speak to you in a few weeks, okay?
Okay, Rich. All the best.
Same to you. There's Hank Goldberg, the Hammer.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.